Good day, everybody. Again, my name is Eric Leyland, and you are in my video recap of this past year. But more importantly, actually, we're going to take a longer glance at what I think is coming in 2026. So, if this is the first time that you've ever been in one of my videos, welcome. Thank you for jumping in. Again, I talk everything digital marketing, helping people understand, what's going on in this universe, how to help make sure that you have a good footprint, whether you're in the agency world and working in that environment, or if you're a direct brand and you're a marketer trying to obviously impact the local area. I've been in this space for closing in on 20 years. Next year will be my 20-year anniversary in digital advertising. And it all started way back when with a marketing agency in the Philadelphia area. And I've seen a lot over the years. And so I want to take a look back at this past year, kind of talk about the things that I saw. Obviously, a ton of things did happen, but we're not going to go into all of them. But I do want to spend some time on what I think was a highlight, because that'll feed into what we see on the horizon. So as we look at this past year, Google and Meta still matter, right? Going back to my past, I used to work in radio in Philadelphia. And as I left that industry and got into the digital world, my first agency that I worked in Google Ads. It was just Google AdWords back in the day. So ultimately, I was helping people understand what Google is all about from a marketing perspective. And so, over the years, that is still an area that people are investing in and making inroads into making sure that they have a good footprint, both in paid advertising and organic and maps in these areas. Like Google is so important to make sure that you're being found. I think what's interesting, one of the topics of conversations that I've had this past year is that for the first time ever, Google has lost its dominance, or it's kind of backed off. In some iterations, AI is impacting how people are engaging with data and looking for things. So, which obviously I'm going to be talking about in a minute as we look into the future for things. But, it's still, a very, very critical piece to your marketing message, to your presence, to being found. And that, again, is why it still matters. Meta, again, Instagram, Facebook, this environment of social media is still an important topic. It is fracturing, though. We are seeing more and more and more, and we will continue to see more platforms where people are engaged. And so you just need to be aware of, these different environments, but understand that Google and Meta are still big pieces of that marketing pie. And that, again, is something that you have to keep in mind. Rising costs. Why do I bring this up? Because Google and Meta are big places that people are spending money. And it's, again, where businesses are still taking that traditional dollar. As I was talking about, I came from radio and moved into digital. Even to this day, there are people that are investing in newspapers and direct mail and radio. And they're, again, leaving those environments and going into digital. When people come from those environments, typically the first place that they go to spend money is Google and Meta. Well, if you're still taking dollars from those areas and pumping it into these others, those costs are going to go up, right? So the cost per click, which is the CPC, that is rising. Your CPMs, your cost per 1,000 impressions, those are going up. Your cost per action or cost per acquisition, that is also going up. So these things are changing. It's fluid, it's dynamic. And when more dollars are being pumped into these environments, it does become more expensive. So you have to manage that. That's why every year, and again, this is a good time to do that, right? Every year you need to realign, rethink, and readjust your budgeting to offset some of the things that might be going in here. So when we're also talking about what's happening this past year, there are rising platforms that have really come into the consciousness of where advertisers are spending marketing dollars. So Netflix, Amazon Prime, these are some of the areas that are opening up their inventory to advertising. Netflix being top of mind because it's the most recent one. But these environments are understanding that there's a lot of dollars that are out there. And so, Netflix, it wasn't an ad-supported platform, but it is now. And so there are avenues to be able to invest marketing dollars to impact your share of voice in these areas. So agencies that I work with and brands and clients, they're always looking for the new, best and better ways to reach audiences. And people are spending time in there. I myself, I like Stranger Things, right? It's a show that I've enjoyed. And so, I'm watching a lot of Netflix. And so you see, unfortunately, the same advertisers over and over and over again. So it just talks about there's a big opportunity for businesses to start to inject their message into this environment, because right now nobody else is buying it. I keep seeing the same Discover ad, over and over again. Well, why is that? It's because nobody else is doing it. It's a rising platform. It's not risen, right? It's not matured like Google and Meta have matured, but it's a great opportunity to reach a new audience with your messaging. And again, if you want to be cutting edge, you can be in that environment and reach people as they're watching Stranger Things or whatever shows that they may be into. So, as we look at the future, one of the things I really wanted to touch on is the understanding that programmatic advertising is becoming a more core piece to that pillar of advertising. So I've talked a lot. If you've listened to my messages and my videos in the past, I've talked a lot about the three pillar conversation: search, social, and the rest of the web. Programmatic advertising is that rest of the web. Reaching into these environments and doing things is really critical as we look at the coming year. A lot of people are doing it, right? But it's becoming more and more a pillar that's understood about your marketing message as we head into 2026. So making sure that you're targeting, those areas, addressably making sure that it's focused as well. I do a lot of hyper local targeting and making sure that that ad is landing in the address that you're targeting. So if you're doing mailers or if you're trying to reach household demographics, these are all things that are done programmatically, and so it gets to be very specific in who you're trying to reach. Connected TV is one of those areas that's programmatically bought. So what I mean by that is that you can do a lot of different platforms. As I was talking about Netflix, nobody that I work with is only doing Netflix, right? Nobody's only doing Hulu. Nobody's only doing Amazon Prime. They're doing it across the board because they want their brand to reach a lot of different areas. And that message needs to resonate and tell a story. So you can do that across a lot of different channels in connected TV through programmatic software. And the last one that I put on here in the programmatic spaces is that these silos are not siloed anymore, right? They're working in conjunction together. A lot of the conversations that I've had recently is the fact that display, while great because it's inexpensive, doesn't tell a story, right? Video tells a story. Digital out of home is another environment that can get you off a screen and telling a story out in the space that these digital screens are at. So programmatic is now getting into all these different areas, and it's an important pillar as we look ahead at 2026. So why does your brand message matter? And it matters a lot in 2026 for a lot of different reasons. So there's a couple questions that I want you to ask yourself. What is your brand value? What is it that people value about your brand? How are you communicating that? And why should people care? So as we look at 2026, going back to some of the advertising levers, like you need to tell that story. And by telling that story through video, through display, through digital out of home, through connected TV, you're going to really elicit that value of your brand. And the reason I brought this up is that in 2026, there's so many different places to be. You have to make sure you have consistency of brand messaging across all those avenues. It's difficult. It's not easy because there's so many different places that people are at. But you need to first understand your value, your brand. You have to understand what it is to communicate it and make sure that people care and that they're connecting with it. So as you look at what we're doing in 2026, one of the things I hope you're asking yourself is, and maybe if you're an agency, you're asking yourself to your clients, again, what is your value? How are you communicating it? And why should people care about it? And all that comes together. And then you go to message in that market of Google, of social media, of programmatic, and get the message in the hands of potential customers. Lastly, and it wouldn't be a forward-thinking video conversation if we didn't mention AI's role in this whole thing. So AI is a tool. It's an effective tool, but it's not a strategy. One of the things, and it was just something at the top of mind that was somebody was talking to me about it just this week, is that AI's output is very bland, right? There's a lot of data that it's taking in. It regurgitates, again, great information back to you, but it's just information. There's no color to it, right? If you look at the images that are put out by AI, very bland. If you look at the conversations that are elicited around it, very bland. It's great as a tool, but it is not a strategy and it is not creative. We are the creative. So when we're talking about how to use it, you can use it to create creative faster, right? There's ways to test it, and taking data in is a great way to use AI. So as I look at it into the future, we should all be, testing it. We should all be engaged in it, and it can help you assimilate all this data and give you strategies that you can elicit. But the AI is not the strategy. You are implementing that strategy based off of your business, and you're adding your flavor. Why do people go out and hire us as consultants, hire us as marketers, it's because we have the experience, we have the know-how, we care about the clients that we work. AI doesn't care, right? All it's trying to do is provide an answer for you. And we've seen and I've heard, and it's true, like AI will lie to you, right? It's going to give, and they even tell you in the chat bots, like these things, like you have to double check, and again, will a human lie to you? Yes, which is why it's important to find trusted advisors that you can have open and honest conversations. And so when we talk about these things as we go into the new year, it's critical that you work with people that you trust. You work with companies that again are aligned with your values. Going back to the brand messaging, you have to find that yourself when you're working with people. So again, why do people work with me? I care about the clients. I've been doing this for 20 years. Do I know everything? Absolutely not. Am I open to willing and able to learn more and help my clients? 100%. So as we go into the new year, if you've had questions about how to position yourself, if you've not had any, real time spent in these environments of programmatic and AI and brand messaging, reach out to me and I can help you and guide you and give you that experience that I've had over the 20 years guiding my clients. And we can work together to formulate a good position as we head into another year. So, and as we do that, I want to say thank you to all those that have worked with me and have been a part of this channel and have been involved in this community that I'm building up. It's been a huge blessing to be able to serve you, to work with you, and to build relationships with you. So I really sincerely hope you have a great holiday season, that you have an amazing Christmas into the new year, and that you're positioned for success. So again, thank you for all the trust that you guys put into me. And I'm looking forward to an amazing 2026. God bless and have a great day.